Hello, welcome to another episode of Set Musings. So we are up to Kaldheim, 285 cards. So we're getting pretty close to where I've caught up with myself in terms of the sets. I've got one more set to do, which is Strixhaven, so that will go out the week after you see these videos. And then I will have got to a position where I've actually caught up with the Set Musings episodes that I was doing as new sets came out. So if we go down here, just to give you an idea where that is on the chronology timeline. When we got up to ATF, I actually did an episode on that the time it came out, so I would have caught up. So I suppose the question on a lot of people's minds are what's going to happen on Monday, Tuesday and Friday going forward. Well, I've already sort of mentioned where I was going with this and mentioned a few things, but just to clarify what I'm thinking of doing at the moment. And this has been something that's in my mind for quite a while. So I want to loop back and do a series which I'm going to call Deck Musings. And the episodes will normally feature a couple of decks. They'll feature a deck that was prevalent at the time. I'll just scroll up to the top of this. It'll make more sense if you can see the top of this article on MTG Wiki. So this is the standard timeline. So what I want to do is go through, look at a notable deck archetype on the standard timeline alongside a particular theme deck of the era. Now, I've decided, just for the fact that theme decks as we know them weren't available until the release of Tempest. There were some Mirage theme decks which I've spoken about before, which were released retrospectively on Magic the Gathering Online when they were infilling older sets. And when they released Mirage Online, Mirage Boosters, they wanted to have some theme decks to go with it, so they actually created some retrospective theme decks. But theme decks, as we know them, were created from Tempest going forward, and then they changed to intro decks. So in the episode, the idea is to look at some, archetypes that are around, that were being played in standard, and then compare them to the archetypes that they were pushing and how the deck was constructed with reference to theme decks. So that's the Monday episode. Will be something called Deck Musings. And it's quite possible as a result of that I might go off down various historical archetypes as well, but that's the basic focus. The particular set that I'm going to be covering will also match up with the Tuesday video, which will be a return to something I used to call Commander Fodder, which was turned into Commander Durdle. So with Commander Fodder, I'm going to be going back again to maybe picking a build around card and possibly not relying quite so much on the algorithm in Architect. But that's something that I need to play around with. So there'll still be a Tuesday Commander video, but it'll just be called Commander Fodder, and so it'll be a triumphant return to Commander Fodder. The Friday video will be an artwork video. I'm going to go back to earlier sets, but it won't necessarily synchronize up with what I'm doing on Monday and Tuesday, simply because I'm going to go back to a lot earlier sets before Tempest, and I'll just be looking at specifically focusing on artwork from earlier sets, and I'll just do whatever I have available. I've got a bit of a hole in my collection I think after Urza's Saga, maybe between whatever the set is after Urza Block and what would be 8th edition. Yeah, somewhere around there. It's a bit patchy, but I'll see what I can do. And it might just mean buying singles, so I've got something to talk about. But like I said, I'll probably go back to Ice Age for that, and it won't match up with what I'm doing on the Monday and Tuesday. So just so you know, that's what's going to be happening. If you're interested, this article's on MTG Wiki. It was actually originally on Wikipedia, and the article sort of got shut down for various reasons. And based on anyway, I did read the whole to-in and fro-in in the discussion thread about, they seem to want to get rid of what they consider to be very specialist articles where it might be just one person working on it. And fortunately, this got ported over to MTG Wiki, which is fantastic. So that's good. And then, like I said, there's the pre-con article. So I'm going to be using this as inspiration. As it says, pre-con theme decks were first introduced for Tempest. Cool. So anyway, back to the matter in hand. Kaldheim. So 285 cards in the set. On here. So what do we want to look out for? So modal double face cards. There's tribal in here. Sagas. There was a snow theme. Keywords, ability words, boast, changeling, and foretell. So yeah, and you might be able to also get a bit of a feel thematically through the artwork that this was a top-down Norse mythology inspired set. 285 regular cards, 121 commons, 80 uncommons, 64 rares, 20 mythic rares, 10 basic lands, randomly inserted premium versions of cards. The number of regular cards include snow basic lands, which ran from 276 to 285. And there were borderless planeswalkers in here, 286 to 289, borderless pathways, 290 to 293, borderless foretell mythics, 294 to 298, Viking showcase cards, 299 to 332, a showcase Vorinclex with Phyrexian text is 333, extended artwork 334 to 373, unique cards in set and theme boosters from 374 to 393, 15 uncommons, 5 rares. The basic land cards from the bundle are numbered 394 to 398. There's a buy a box card which is 399, and the bundle promo is 400. There's also some Friday Night Magic treatment cards from the Universal promo pack, which are numbered 401 to 405, and the concept prate art of Vorinclex released with Phyrexia All Will Be One is 406. So we'll get to all of these other ones in a moment. Specifically the showcase cards, which, as you know, have slightly different card frames that are usually specific to the set. Okay, so here's the 4 borderless planeswalkers. Here's the 9 alternate art borderless cards. these are the showcase cards. So there's 35 of these, and you can see this is the particular style here. Again, notice a number of these are going to be the double-faced cards as well, that I mentioned that were in the set. If I hover over that, is it going to pop up again? Oh, yeah, Vorinclex with the Phyrexian text. There's our extended artwork cards. There's our theme booster cards, 20 of those. If you remember, we were in the era of theme boosters. Buy a box, set extensions, the promo cards, 6 of those, including the bundle. There's the bundle one, which was in the bundle, that would have been in foil. And then those 5 basic land artwork that were in the bundle. And then down the bottom here, I didn't mention these are the alchemy cards. It's online. Okay, so 116 cards above the booster, the draft booster sort of cut off of 285, so 286 onwards. 8 reprints in the set. And so that leaves us with 267 regular cards here, or sorry, cards that are not reprints at that point in time. Looking at the way the cards sort of balance out across different colour combinations and colour identities, you can see here we've got 12 cards in the set, which there's no colour in the casting cost, there's no colour in the activation cost within the rules text. Now, there might be things like saying 1 mana of any colour, but that doesn't affect the colour identity. Only, of course, whatever colours you want to generate if you are using these in Commander. So this is interesting. There's Colossal Plough here. So this is the only card where there's no colour in the casting cost, but we've got a colour in here. So the other thing I mentioned, yeah, I normally always say activation cost, but that's also extends to any colour of mana that's generated. Yeah, I tend to forget about that actually. These are all the monocolour cards, so where either they just have a colour in the casting cost, a single colour, and also if it's there, the colour in the activation cost or any mana generated in the rules text is the same colour, and there's 213 of those. So I was curious again about cards where there's a colour in the casting cost but potentially a different colour somewhere else, and for these you can see for 3 of those it's because they are these two-face cards, these double-face cards. And the other two, it's because there's different colours from the casting cost here. So this is a Wooburg one, and this has black in it. There you go. So we have a number of cards that are specifically two colour. So here you can see two colours in the casting cost. So yeah, specifically two colours in the casting cost. And you can see a number of those are sagas. So just to compare and contrast, because it's a different bit of tricky with the fact that these cards flip, or they have double side. You can see with this one, we've got the two colours on this side. On the previous one, it's one colour, and then either multiple colours or two colours. So what's happening here is these are being picked up twice. Not sure why here. But anyway, that must just be an anomaly in the way it searches. So with this one, so it looks like with the searches it's not quite so discreet on here. We've got a lot of stuff that's bleeding over just because of the way how the mechanism of the two colours, the double-faced cards actually work on here. And we've seen this before. You'll notice that these aren't like that because they transform. These are modal double face cards, which means you get to choose which side you cast. So with the slicing and dicing here, we might see some weirdness. So 32 cards, 32 creature cards in white, or have the colour white somewhere in the casting cost. Just see what we've got here. I mentioned that there was a tribal theme going on in here, and hopefully we'll be able to pick up on that and see what's going on. Some of it was associated with two colours. So you had spirits in white and blue, zombies in blue, red, demons and berserkers black, red, trolls red, green, humans green, white, angels in white, black, giants in blue, red, elves in black, green, dwarves in red, white, and shapeshifters in green, blue. So we can keep our eyes out for those combinations here. So like I said, we've got some spirits in amongst here, humans, and also angels, and we should see some dwarves as well. There you go. Some of these other modal cards as well. You can see it looks like we've got other things on the other side. different spell types. And then no doubt what we'll see is we will see certain draft indicators at the lower rarities for the two colour combinations. But you'll probably notice that a lot of these two colours, we're probably going to see creature types which reflect some things I've already mentioned. So here we've got a spirit, white blue here, green white humans, white black angels, red white dwarves. So in blue now you can see again spirits, but of course there's other things as well mixed in amongst here. So humans crop up, and again there's this sort of bleed over. The other thing is, in addition to the tribes, they had something else associated with them. So with spirits, for example, there was foretell control. So white blue, foretell control. Blue black was zombies, snow mid-range. So there's a couple of layers to the themes, the strategies as well. So you can see some zombies here. There's a Yeti, which there wasn't a specific Yeti tribal theme. And Krakens. So yeah, a good smattering of things outside of what I've mentioned. I did mention Giants, which was the blue-red one. And then Shapeshifters, which was the blue-green. And as we come down here, it's probably easier to spot, although... Oh yeah, there's our Shapeshifter. We've got a serpent here as well. There's our giant in blue-red. Zombie wizard. Blue-black. And there's our bird spirit again, which we've seen already. Moving into black. So, again, you know, we've got humans in here. They tend to turn up in colours outside of anything that might be tribal specific, where there are tribal theme sets. It's just a thing. But you can probably see demons and berserkers from black red, zombies from the blue black, angels as well from the white black, and elves from the black green. And there's also these gods that are cropping up. No doubt we'll see a cycle of those once we start looking at specific cycles. And we get down here and we can see, yeah, there's our zombies. Again here, interesting they did this. So there's our berserker, our demon berserker, demons and berserkers. But also we have a black-red vampire dragon. We have a white-black angel cleric and blue-green elf. And there's also a wolf in. So I just say blue-green, I meant to say black-green. There's also a wolf in black-green, which is a legendary wolf. And then moving into red. The reason why that's here is because it's a black-red modal card. And demons and berserkers from red-black, trolls from red-green in here, along with giants from blue-red, and dwarves from red-white. So the demons and berserkers black-red was also boast aggro. The trolls, which was red-green, was ramp in addition to trolls. Giants, which was red-blue, was also spells matter. And the dwarves, which was red white, was vehicles and equipment. And as we get down here, you can see for the two colour cards the tribal themes reflected. Moving to green. So trolls in here, elves, humans, which was green-white, shapeshifters, which was green-blue, elves, which was black-green, one thing I didn't mention, I don't think, the additional strategy. So for the angels, which was white-black, that was something called pseudo-surge. And then down to the two colour cards, and again you can see the particular tribal theme for the two colour reflected there. And there's the larger spells. We actually have a 12 CMC spell there in the form of Icebreaker Kraken, although it costs less to cast with each snow land you control. And you can see here a number of the lands are in fact snowlands. It just gives you some idea of the rough proportion as we're going through the colours there. Now I mentioned, the fact that there's this tribal theme. There's 141 creatures in the set. So just to recap, so you can tie the creatures to the strategy. So we've got spirits with foretell, zombies with snow, demons and berserkers with boast aggro, trolls with ramp, humans with tokens, angels with something called pseudo-surge. So surge is a keyword ability, I think, introduced to those the Gatewatch, that provides an alternative cost that if the spell is set up with another spell. So there was a pseudo version of that, from what I understand. Giants was spells matter, elves was self-mill, dwarves of vehicles and equipment, and shapeshifters was a changeling strategy where you sort of chose a creature type. You probably will notice as we go through with this, with a couple of instances, the tribal indicators in the strategy itself are a bit stronger than the fact that you were just playing a particular tribe, particular subtype of creature. Now, the other thing I think I mentioned is there were groups of other subtypes in here. So we've got like clerics, for instance. So there were a number of clerics across multiple colours running alongside the main themes from a creature type perspective. And you probably noticed here there's a lot of like hybrid creature types. Additionally, warriors as well, so 24 warrior cards. there were 12 wizards, and part of the reason I'm bringing this up is to see the overlap with the previous set, because that was pretty important in standard. So wizards and then rogues. So it's interesting, you've got in the previous set, those were the different creature subtypes that were focused on. In this set, there's a different focus in terms of the creatures that are chosen, but there's also those ones as well. So yeah. Okay, so 16 double face cards. It looks like we've got a couple, at least 2 in each of the main colours. For some you can see there's 3 here, and also we have them on land as well. Here's our sagas. We've got 20 sagas. And I wanted to also highlight, I'd already looked at the lands in the set and the contrast between regular basic lands, non-basic lands and snow lands, and combinations thereof, but they're also looking at it through the lens of just the type snow. You had snow sorceries, snow creatures, snow instants, and you can see here as well we've got things like can be paid with 1 mana from a snow source, hence the presence of snow lands. Okay, there we go. So lots of snow. Now moving on to keywords to look out for. So boast, 17 boast cards. So with boast, you can see the actual, once you activate this, what you can do with that varies, but you can see there's this additional requirement which is the same on all the cards, on all the boast cards. So activate this ability only if this creature attacked this turn and only once each turn. So that's the requirement, the caveat. And you can see there's restrictions here. So we've got a cost that's different on different cards and what it does that's different. But this sort of gatekeeping, this gatekeeper to the ability is different on different, this gatekeeper and the ability is the same. So that's part of the boast. That's what boast is in effect. And I mentioned changelings were a thing, so I figured it'd be a good idea to look and see where changeling is mentioned here. This card is every creature type, so obviously very handy in a deck where creature types matter. Foretell, so with foretell, let's have a look at this one. During your turn, you may pay 2 and exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it on a later turn for its full tell cost. So you have options here. You can cast all of these spells as usual with the casting cost, or you can cast it with foretell for a certain cost. Sorry, wind that back. You can cast it here for its alternate cost of 2, and you notice here it's always 2, so you cast it for 2, and then you can cast it later for its foretell cost. And it's a face down thing. And of course we've seen face down shenanigans before in Magic, in the form of morph and such like. So, onto the cycles. So 5 mythic rare monocolour spells with foretell. Each one has an alternative borderless treatment. An alternate borderless treatment. Okay. You're not going to see it here, but yeah. That was in all the additional versions of the cards that we're now seeing a lot as we move through these sets. But they're all foretell. We have 5 rare snow instants or sorceries that get better the more snow that you pay to cast them. What else do we have? Well, we have clan leaders. So 5 monocolour legends across rarities, each one a leader of the 5 clans of Brittagard. Human warrior, human wizard, demon rogue, human berserker, and a human warrior. So Brittagard is one of the 10 realms of the plane of Kaldheim. It's a realm of humans. Tribal equipment. So 5 uncommon equipments that for an additional cost create a creature token of a relevant type. Ah, 5 runes, 5 uncommon runes that give runes that give an evergreen ability to an enchanted creature or allows an enchanted equipment to grant the same ability. They cost 1 and a colour, as you can see. And they have enters the battlefield effect, draw a card, and they all are illustrated by the same artist. I don't always mention cycles outside of the draft boosters, but I thought I'd do it here. There was that because these were exclusives. 5 rare creature cards that are exclusive in the theme boosters. So they all have numbers above. .373. I had to sort of focus in on this, so yeah, 373 to 379. Just to focus in on that particular area. So they run from 374 to 378. So within that range. In the in that sort of alternative artwork range. Right, modal double face cycles. We have 5 mythic rare cards that are modal, so you can choose which side you cast. Front is a monocoloured god, and the back is a legendary permanent spell. 2 equipments, a creature, a planeswalker, and an enchantment. This was a little bit strange in that there were 7 rare modal double face cards, the front of each being a monocolour god and the back being a legendary artifact. And it's an odd cycle due to there being 12 gods present on Kaldheim. So it didn't round off nicely to say 10 or 5. It was 12. So that's why you've got 5 and 7. So there's extra in both green and black. And then we have a couple of double cycles, actually more than a couple of double cycles here. So these are the sort of various 2-colour cycles. We've got a cycle of 10 rare sagas. So they're dual colours. And they cover each of the 2 colours. Then we've got uncommon sagas, another 10. We have these draft legends, so 10 uncommon legendary creatures, each loosely supporting a draft archetype and hailing from the realm associated with their colour pair. And then we've got these realm locales, so 10 uncommon tap lands that each tap for M, so a specific colour, and have a powerful one-time effect that costs, you can see here, a combination of 2 colours in the form, for most of them, there's one here that doesn't have it, but for a lot of them it's mana of any colour, then 2 of a specific colour, and then 2 of the other colour. And there's 1 for each of Kaldheim's 10 realms. M is, when I'm talking about M is the primary realm's colour, so the first one. And then N is the secondary colour. There's 10 snow dual lands. And these are at common. They come into the battlefield tapped. So you can probably guess it looks like there's quite a bit of lower rarity mana fixing. Then this is the remainder of that mega cycle which we had a look at in Zendikar Rising. So these are the 4 pathways that form part of that mega cycle. And again, remember these are modal double face cards, so you get to choose, they don't transform. There's 1 pair, Giant Ox and Colossal Plough. Six toughness, crew of 6, 6 power. So 20 mythic rares, and you can see from what we've been through already, some of these are modal. You can see there's 1 in each of the colours, and within that, you know, you've got mixtures of creatures, sorceries. Is there an instant anywhere? There's enchantments on the flip side. Planeswalkers. So, and remember, of course, in the set basic lands, the snow lands were also basic lands as well. So 2 in each of the colours in terms of artwork for the basic snow lands, and then 1 each for the regular basic lands. 28 non-basics. So in addition to the snow basic lands, there are also these non-basic snow lands, but they were at common. So yeah. So a lot of lands kicking around. Now I think most, if not all, of these have been covered in the various cycles that I went through, except for this one, Tririte Sanctum. But you'll notice in here, so it takes it down to 27 with that. So there were the cycles of uncommon lands, a cycle of rare lands, and then the cycle of the common lands. These uncommon ones were referred to as realm locales, and there were 20 of those. There were 10 of those. You can see mixed among these were the 4 pathways. Just scrolling through these slowly because the artwork's pretty interesting actually. You can see there were 10 of these snow jewel lands. Got the world tree in here as well, which is another one that I'm not specifically focused in on. Four planeswalkers, one of which is on the flip side of legendary god. Then we have 33 cards which have a legendary creature on them, and I say that because some of these are modal cards, but definitely one way or another a lot of legendary creatures in the set. Whether or not you choose to cast them as such in the case of the modal spells is entirely up to you. So yeah, a lot going on. Lots of modal shenanigans. 7 enchantments. And again, well, one of these, the enchantments on the other side. We have 14 auras. And what you can see here is, one, it's a lot of auras for a set, but you can see a number of these actually just say enchant permanent, and they were that cycle of runes. There's one there that enchants a land, one here that enchants a creature or a vehicle, another one that's very specific about enchanting a giant. So yeah, some quite specific things here. And there's one here that enchants a permanent, but it's not a rune. So yeah, not going on in the enchantments. 22 sagas. Nine artifacts, and some of these are care of the fact they're on the other side of the double face cards. In fact, most of them that's the case. You can see there's one artifact creature down there actually. Oh, hang on, did I make a mistake there? No. Oh, I know what might have happened here. Yeah. So I should have paid more attention to these. I can see where I've gone wrong here. So what I wanted to focus in actually on was the presence of the artifact creatures, of which there are two. Yep. Sorry about that. Yep. So 2 artifact creatures. The others are both artifacts and creatures because they're an artifact on one side and a creature on the other. So a different sort of artifact and creature, I suppose. We've got equipment. Let's make sure, did I? Oh yeah. That's what I did there. Okay. We have, yeah, 13 cards where there's equipment somewhere. That's how many modal ones are there? It's interesting, isn't it? Because once you start including modal spells, it has the effect of having more of things in the set, even though you haven't increased necessarily the actual card count. So here I'm sort of trying to capture any odd things that might be kicking around here. So these are generally all the things that are just artifacts only. So you can see we've got some vehicles here in addition to the ploughs as well. Nice artwork. It's interesting that they didn't make yeah, so I was just looking to see. They obviously chose not to do a cycle of vehicles. That one in each of the colours. 36 instance. Are any of these modals? Let's have a look. In terms of double face modals, no, I don't see any. So you can see some have got the set keywords and ability words on them. Others play to the different creature subtypes here. Well, actually that's not. I thought for a moment, oh, they've got trolls in the set, but no, it's just the name of the card. You can see there's a few, yeah, quite a few with foretell. And again, this stapling together. Here's like a regular, like modal spell. Oh, gotta have some sharks. do like the artwork in here. 26 sorceries. There's our mass removal. It's got foretell on it as well. Interesting. Oh wow. It's funny, showing my age here, that makes me think of the intro to Captain Scarlet. You know what I mean if you remember the cartoon series. The original one. Or was it? Actually, was it? I think it was the end. Thinking about it, yeah, the outro stuff. I don't think they had that in the intro. Oh, some counter shenanigans going on there. Right, back to the whole set. So again, tons going on. Yeah, tons going on. Right, price wise, okay, here we go. So we got this thing, one of the alternative pieces of artwork, of which, as you can see, there are numerous for roaring clicks. Clocks in at 77.69. And we have the next one, which clocks in at 65, and the next one for 64, and the next one for 60. Oh, and look, there's the Phyrexian one. Ah, there we go, Gold Span Dragon. It's pretty artwork. Oh, that's funny, 20 bucks. Wow, that's some drop. All right, and we get down to, it's like so all of the value of the set is in roaring clicks. That's funny, $15. I didn't bother looking through this actually before I did it, which I do that all the time. These when I'm doing the slicing and dicing, I do it in such a way that it helps me not see the full set. The disadvantage is I make mistakes, but the advantage is it's almost like going through the set anew. And so yeah, oh, that's funny. Yeah, $14. It's probably going to now hover around $14 as we go through the variants. So 11 down to 10, floating around 10. There's the other style of border for Gold Span. Coma Cosmos Servant 10. Yeah. It's teasing us where everything's floating around certain values. Oh, there we go. Coma Cosmos Servant. So we've seen this before. The price where the regular artwork is slightly more expensive than the alternate art. Wow. Yep. Hopefully we're going to have fun on the Friday artwork video. I'm going to be totally spoilt for choice here when I come to do that, because I normally shoot it. I shoot all my Magic the Gathering videos back to back for the 3 in the weekdays. So sorry, Monday to Friday ones get shot back to back. So I've got that to look forward to later today. Right, so looking against EDH rec rankings, these are the new cards at the time. So we've got Toski, top of the pile, legendary creature Swirl, squirrel. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. But again, of course, this could be both. It could be in a deck because it's a commander, or it could be in a deck because it's one of the 99. Yeah, those pathways are obviously up fairly high. That was a new thing. So if we look at the reprints, Villagerites, because Roaring Clicks is actually a... Let me just check that. What? It's classing it as a reprint, which is interesting. What did I do there? I've got myself muddled up. That's better. Okay. I lost my place. Yeah. Pretend that's not here. Disdainful stroke. What's that repro? Yeah, it's all over the place. What was that from? Oh, the core set. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, top of the pile. Oh, there's Toski. Okay. So that makes a lot of sense. So reprints the first one, and then all the new cards at the time have sort of pushed through above everything else. I don't know if the reprint ones were that strong. So where did Disdainful Stroke fit into the grand scheme of things? Is that fairly far down, or did I miss it? Yeah, it's been pushed down quite a bit. So it looks like... Oh, there it is. Okay. And now onto the legendary creatures. These could either be as commanders or as utility within the 99. So Toski, Biggie, Roaring Clicks, Monstrous Raider, Margarth, Magda, Tergrid, Cardor, Koma, Sika, Halvar, Marja, Viga, and so on. And of course, notice we've got things like these legendary snow creature shapeshifters. And as I think I pointed out before, one of the reasons there's a lot of legends here, in addition to the fact that we've got that group of 12, the 7 and the 5, is we've got legends at uncommon, legendaries at uncommon, creatures at uncommon. So that ups the count quite considerably. So anything I want to really add on this side of things? Again, you've got commander decks, as has been for a little while now, as we've been through these sets, replacing the intro decks, the Planeswalker decks in the sets. And so to get an idea of what there were, so these were just 2, so what they were doing is they just had 2 for the sets, except for the ones that coincided with where the yearly commander product would usually be released, very roughly. So at the time, the nice thing with these is these were slightly cheaper. They had fewer new cards, 8 per deck. The rest were reprints. But I think the price point was really good at the time. So just 2 of those. There was an Elvin one, and you can see there's a list of the new cards. Also, they did this thing where they put the set symbol on for cards from the set from Kaldheim. And Phantom Premonition. And of course these also came with tokens as well. And so I sort of a little bit undecided when I was doing this which one I should choose. It was tempting to go for squirrels, but I thought this would be interesting. So this sort of 5-colour Planeswalker theme, or legendary creature theme. Yeah, so 5-colour legends. So the idea is to focus on anything legendary. I've included legendary creatures from the set and a legendary Planeswalker. Obviously you can see here it says other legendary creatures you control have vigilance. So we're going to see what Architect does for us. So we'll probably get a mixture. We'll get obviously things just by being legendary creatures which synergize with this, but also it'd be interesting to see what legendary Planeswalkers might get suggested for utility as well, in terms of getting legendary stuff out there. But I'll go through what I included as a seed when I get to the Commander Durdle episode. So thanks once again for watching. Bye for now, and I will catch you in the next episode.